Hello, everyone. This is Billy RL Real Life. I'm coming to you because we, the Truth Tellers slash NWOR, we have just received some very important information. And this information is coming from a source that none of us wish or are allowed to speak their name because there will be death. But we wanted you all to know this. Now, I'm going to have Katrina to come forward, and she's going to explain everything and everything, and I mean everything to you all. People, the only thing that I, Billy RL Real Life, want to say to each and every one of you out there who is listening to my voice, Katrina's voice, and the voices of the Truth Tellers slash NWOR movement team. Hell is going to break loose, and it's quicker than you all think that it's going to be. You better wise up, you better use your heads, and you better be alerted and forewarned, because this is not a message of excitement to fool you all. This is not a message for just to be playing games. We've just received the notice and the words, I should say. Something is going to happen. It's going to happen, people. If we, upon getting this notice that we receive, it is a very strong possibility that we believe from reading this notice. And this notice came from someone that sits high and that's in there. And so we, the Truth Tellers slash NWOR, we strongly believe that this is going to go down. We tried to talk to the person who sent us this notice. Are you serious? The question we asked, are you serious? Are you serious? Are you serious? And the person that sent the notice could not say any further, could not say anything further. The only thing that was stated is this: what you see, what you have read, hey, take it upon yourself to believe it or reject it. And we have read it, and we strongly believe that it's because it's already taken place now. But it's going to get stronger. So I'm going to present to you Katrina, because Katrina can put it in the best words possible. I'm going to present to you all her, and she's going to explain, not explain, but to tell you all of what we read on the notice. People, this is not a game. This is not a joke. This is not something that, we're telling you all to get subscribers. No, this is the real deal. We strongly believe. The notice we got, it implies that. And so we're passing this on to you all. People, this is not a thing where we're trying to put you in shock. Once again, I've already stated it, but I will state it again. This is not a thing to put you in fear. This is something that we want each and every one of you out there to use your heads and take knowledge of, because it's already step by step being in effect today, yesterday, and the days before. We're living in hell, people. We're living in hell. I'm going to let Katrina come forward and explain it all to you listening ears out there. There's some of you out there, you may say, here come the Truth Tellers slash NWOR, yet once again, making up their tales. But you can accept it, reject it, and or leave it alone. But when you do leave it alone, is going to fall upon you. It's going to fall upon you. So you can say what you want to say about the 450 members, team members of the Truth Tellers or the slash NWOR. You can say what you want to say about us. But one thing with us is this: we are prepared. We know exactly, we strongly believe that this has begun in slow paces and eventually is going to blow up. So call us what you want, but we are prepared. So here's Katrina.
Okay, first of all, I want to say this. This is our belief of what we believe is coming, and we're hoping to the gods that we're wrong, because no one wants to be right about these things. We're hoping that we're wrong, but we strongly, from what we have been told and from what we heard, we don't believe we are wrong, because from what we've heard and what we were told, it's a doozy. You all heard about this Tyre Nichols young man who was brutally beaten by Memphis police officers. The police officers were all black. Well, Tyre Nichols' mother, who, and we'll put a link to the article where you can see in the link she's smiling, has a full smile on her face, and Benjamin Crump is out there, and she says that she feels sorry for the officers who have been charged with her son's murder. Now, if you haven't seen the Tyre Nichols beating footage, you need to watch it. They beat this man like this man may have been Jim Caviezel playing Jesus in the Passion of the Christ. But according to Tyre's mother, she feels so sorry, not for her deceased son who was beaten this way, but for the officers charged with her son's murder. And you all know wherever Benjamin Crump is, chaos is sure to follow. If Malcolm X were alive, if Martin were alive, if Huey P. Newton were alive, they would tell you that Benjamin Crump, just like Al Sharpton, are government informants. They are plants. They are plants that are rooted in certain situations so that chaos can start. Wherever Benjamin Crump is, and or Al Sharpton, chaos often, almost always follows. Now, people, on top of that, we have in Atlanta, the Kemp, well, in Georgia, not in Atlanta, but in Georgia, the Kemp, the governor, I'm sorry, not the Kemp, Georgia Governor Brian Kemp has declared, as of yesterday, a state of emergency following violent protests in Atlanta against the construction of a police training facility and the killing by authorities of an environmental protester. And protests have been raging fiercely in Georgia and specifically Atlanta all week long. Now, they're saying that this Tyre Nichols situation is just like the Rodney King situation. As a matter of fact, if you go on DrudgeReport.com, as you see here, they have this picture of the officers brutalizing Tyre Nichols, and the picture looks similar to the same type of picture. It's not the same picture, of course, but they have orchestrated this picture to look almost just like the Rodney King beating photos that came out when they showed pictures of the officers hovering over Rodney King as he was being beaten. It looks just like this. Drudge Report is not doing this by accident. They're doing it on purpose. They've particularly orchestrated this picture of the beating and murder of Tyre Nichols to look just like the pictures that came out of the beating of Rodney King. That was done on purpose. They're saying that because of them releasing the Tyre Nichols footage of the beating, that there is a fear of unrest. Unrest on the same wavelength as we saw with George Floyd. People, if you noticed or not, there has been this large uptick, and we mean extremely large uptick of UFO sightings. People have been seeing more sightings in the sky of UFOs than we've ever heard of people seeing ever before. Not only UFO sightings, people have been seeing men, giant men walking in the sky. This is, if you go on YouTube and you really research into things, shocking things caught in the sky, you'll see people have been seeing all type of images and visions in the skies, and they don't know where these visions have come from. Along with UFOs, they've been hearing horns and stuff like that, and they don't know where the horn. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? They've been hearing all of these things, horns and wailing and all of this. Remember, I told you one time before, when I say I'm not just myself, Billy RL, Ryan, Frank, Samantha, David, Kenny, all of us. We have told you that before the original Robert Stanley, because again, we will never believe that Robert Stanley that's out today is the original Robert Stanley. But remember, we told you that the original Robert Stanley had stated one time before that the gods will return. The gods being the Anunnaki, the Draconians, the reptilians. They're going to return. And not only Robert Stanley has stated this, if our memory serves us correct, David Icke has said this, and several others have said these gods are coming back. As a matter of fact, there was an insider who had told this one radio station that he had been in talks with several people from the FBI and the CIA, and that the FBI and the CIA wanted it to be on the DL, the down low, about the fact that these gods were going to come back. Now, in order for these gods to return back here, they have to have enough negative energy to return. Just like, let me use for example, if you've ever seen the show Ghost Hunters or Ghost Adventures, and the crew on Ghost Hunters and the crew on Ghost Adventures, they want the spirits, the ghosts haunting the location that they're in to come forth, to make a noise or to speak or to do something to show that those ghosts are there. And in order to get those ghosts to speak or make a noise or what have you, the crew on Ghost Adventures and the crew on Ghost Hunters will put out electronic devices. And those electronic devices are put out so that the ghosts can feed off of that energy. And with the ghosts feeding off of that energy, the ghosts can then manifest. And upon manifesting, then they can make a noise, or they can throw a ball, or they can sometimes even, respond to questions. But they can only do these things if they have energy to feed off of. If they don't have any energy to feed off of, they cannot manifest themselves to do these things. Well, the same thing goes with the gods. The Anunnaki, the Draconians, the Reptilians. They cannot manifest themselves in their true form in our world without energy, negative energy. Without negative energy, they cannot appear here in our reality in their true form. And it can't just be a little bit of negative energy. It has to be a lot of negative energy circulating throughout this whole entire reality that we all call Earth in order for them to manifest. This is what's going on, people. The government, which is not Biden, which is not Klaus Schwab, which is not any of them, because they're just the puppets. Biden and all them, Nancy Pelosi, the Democrips and the Republicans, they are just the puppets. We're talking about the real government, meaning Mariah, the Conquering Wind, the Rothschilds, the Council of 13, which is Mariah, the Conquering Wind, all of them, the Grand Druid Council. This is why they're doing what they're doing. This is why what happened to Tyre Nichols happened to Tyre Nichols. This is why we're seeing an uptick in crime and killings and all of these things like that. Because in order for the Grand Druid Council, Mariah the Conquering Wind, the Council of 13, the Rothschilds, and the puppets in their participation of what these higher ups are doing, in order for their gods to return, their gods being the Anunnaki, the Draconians, the Reptilians, in order for their gods to return, there has to be enough negative violence circulating on this plane of existence. Because then and only then can those gods, the Reptilians, the Draconians, the Anunnaki, then and only then can they manifest, and they can and can appear here and return and wreak havoc. This is why this is all happening. I'm trying to put this in the right words. What happened to Tyre Nichols was orchestrated, just like what happened with George Floyd was orchestrated. It was orchestrated. It was orchestrated all the way from the very top, which is the Jesuits, on down to the Rothschilds, on down from the Rothschilds to the Grand Druid Council and other Mariah Conquering Wind members and all that, Council 13. On down and on down and on down till it finally came down to the Memphis police, because the Memphis Police Department, the Memphis governors, congressmen, senators, council members, all of them are connected to Mariah the Conquering Wind. Every last one of them that's in the government in Memphis is connected to Mariah the Conquering Wind. And so word came down, we need to cause another George Floyd. Well, why? Because we need enough negative violence, enough negative energy. We need enough negative energy. We got to get it going, because if we don't get it going, our gods can't come back. Our lords, our saviors can't come back. So we got to get enough energy going, because just having the everyday murders and robberies and killings and all of this and crime, that's not enough. We need something bigger. Because the bigger it is, the more energy, the more the better it will be for them to be able to manifest here. And you all think, oh, they don't talk like that. Yes, they do. They sit around and they discuss things like this. Yes, they do. So they thought, what better way to usher in, huge negative energy than to do another George Floyd. And so Tyre Nichols just happened to be the George Floyd that they decided to do this on. Unfortunately, Tyre Nichols was the one. Yes, Tyre Nichols is dead. He's not a crisis actor. But he is really dead and murdered. But he was the one. It just so happened he was the one they decided to do it on. And they murdered him. And they knew that by murdering him they murdered Tyre Nichols in a worse way than they murdered George Floyd. The way they murdered George Floyd, that was bad too, but what they did to Tyre Nichols, my God. And they knew if they did Tyre Nichols in a horrible way, worse, if they knew if they did Tyre Nichols worse than they did George Floyd, that would really get black people angry. And not only black people, some white people, that would get them pissed. And they'll take to the streets and they'll pillage and they'll bomb and they'll destroy and they'll tear down. It will be almost like another LA riots. And that's exactly the type of negative energy they need for their gods to manifest. On top of the fact that they're already doing it in Atlanta. And now with the Tyre Nichols body camera footage coming out, it's going to be even more so in Atlanta now, as well as in Memphis. Bill Cooper said one time before that The goal of the Illuminati, as he called them, was to create a not I'm sorry, that wasn't Bill Cooper, it was Jordan Maxwell. He said the goal of the Illuminati was to create enough violence to scare and frighten the world. Why? Because fear expels negative energy. You already have the UN warning countries to start stockpiling radioactive or radio something. I think it's a radio. I think it's radioactive medicine because there's fears of a nuclear blast coming from the EU, the European Union. They're saying that Antifa is planning on burning down New York City tonight as a retribution to what happened to Tyre Nichols. I'm telling you, we are telling you, people, this is all orchestrated to bring forth enough negative violence, enough negative energy, so that their gods, Mariah the Conquering Wind's gods, the reptilians, the Draconians, the Anunnaki, can manifest and appear. Of course, when they do manifest and appear, they're going to make it look like it's an alien invasion. That's always been their plan. Kathy O'Brien said that when this does happen, they're going to say, "Oh, it's aliens, and it's not going to be aliens. It's going to be their gods." But they're going to stage an alien invasion, and no, it's not going to be Project Bluebeam, where people think, "Oh, this is not real." They're not. They're really going to be here. The Draconians, the reptilians, and the Anunnaki. When they appear, it's going to be them. It's not going to be some kind of hologram. It will be them. They will be here, but they cannot be here unless there's enough negative energy to feed them, to give them the strength to be able to manifest here. And that's what the government is trying to do. This is why the mother of Tyre Nichols, no, she isn't worried about, she's sad that her son had to die, but they've already told her, "Don't worry, mother, we're going to pay you off well. You going to get paid, baby. Don't worry about it." And who gave her this message was Benjamin Crump, because Benjamin Crump is working right along with Mariah the Conquering Wind. He's an informant for them. So Mariah the Conquering Wind, Council of 13, Grand Jury Council, already told Crump, "Tell that mother, don't worry. We're sorry that your son had to be the fall person for this, but don't worry, honey. You're going to get paid." And so now the mother's coming out. She feels there's no way in hell that if my son, Billy R.L.'s son, Frank's son, Ryan's son, Samantha Davis' son, it's no way in hell we would see our child being brutalized the way Tyre Nichols was brutalized, and then turn around and say, "We feel sorry for the cops who murdered our son." Hell no. Emmett Till's mother never felt not one bit of sympathy for the men and women who murdered Emmett Till. But see, the mother, she knows, but she's forbidden to say. The mother can't come out and say that her son was used as a patsy to create enough negative energy. She can't come out and say that, but that's exactly what's going on. But the mother's, her millions and millions of dollars will dry away her tears, will take away the grief. That's what she's going to be given. I say this to you all. Billy R.L. says this to you all. The Truth Movement team, formerly the NWR, says this to you all. Please do not take part in this negative energy. This is a trap. It is a trap, people. They need negative energy. They need it to surround the whole entire earth so that their Luciferian gods can appear. This is why there's been an uptick in UFO sightings. This is why there has been an uptick in sightings of things in the sky. Because these gods, they want to come here. And they're making the little bit of negative energy that has been coming forth, has been giving them a little bit of strength to be able to just be seen in the sky, but not enough to fully appear. Not enough to fully manifest. So yeah, you'll see little UFO sightings, you'll see little things in the sky because they have just enough energy just to do that. Just enough strength to do that. But to come and do a full-fledged appearance where you will see giants, and you will see giants walking along the streets, crushing 5, 10, 15,000 people with just 1 foot. And if you don't think it's going to happen, sweetheart, wait. Honey, wait. It's going to happen. In order for them to be able to do that, they need a whirlwind of violence all across the globe. Thank you, Billy R.L. Billy R. brought up a good point. We heard also the reports that in D.C., the national parks are closed until further notice. Certain landmarks, I think it's the museums, are closed until further notice. Certain places in Washington, D.C., they are closed until further notice. Why? No one knows. Why are they closed? When we heard that, we thought back to George Floyd. Right before, or not, maybe not, if not right before, right after, like about a day or two after George Floyd's death, things started closing down in Washington, D.C. in preparation for what they knew was coming. And here again, Tyre Nichols, and in Washington, D.C., things have closed until further notice. People, we hope we are wrong. We do not want to be right. As we've said many times before, no one wants to be right about something like this. Who wants hell to break loose in hell? Because we are in hell, as Billy R.L. said. And we are in hell. Billy R.L. said, you're right, we are in hell. We are in a illusionary hell with our minds making us think that this is Earth, this is this is Nebraska, this is Texas, this is Ohio, all of that. But we are in an illusionary hell. We are in a hell plane of existence. But no one wants to see these things happen. No one wants to see the gods return, because we're telling you, when the gods return, they're not coming and saying, hey, take us to your leader. They're not coming like that. They're coming to kill. When the gods return, the Draconians, the Reptilians, the Anunnaki, they are coming to kill. They are going to smash. They are going to crush. They're coming to destroy. Okay? No one wants to see that happen. But from what we have been told and what we've been researching, something doesn't sound right. Something doesn't seem right. And not only us, so many, we've even talked before we came online tonight on air. We heard from so many people who were saying, something's coming. I can feel it. I can feel it in the air. I just feel something's big coming. And it is. It is. Something big is coming. We just don't know when. We just don't know how to. And when I say how, I mean how and what kind of extent. We do know how, but we don't know how as far as to what extent, to what specific extent. We just don't know. But something is coming. We're telling you, people, these sightings in the skies, UFOs, creatures in the sky, visions in the sky, the sounds being heard in the skies, and nobody knows where they're coming from. And it's happening. The sounds are happening more so now than ever. These things are not happening by accident. It's the gods. Oh, lastly, they already stated that the earth is no longer spinning anymore. If I'm absolutely correct, I think it's not either no longer spinning or spinning in reverse, but I think it's stopped spinning. All of that, I'm telling you, we are telling you, is related to the gods and their return. They're coming, but they cannot fully manifest in full form unless they have enough negative violence on every part of this world. This is why in those countries, I think it's in Canada, stuff is breaking out over there. And I think it's in another state, I don't think it's Argentina or it's one of those other countries, not state, another country, things are breaking out world and big time protests, big time riots, all of that. They need enough negative violence. Do not take part in this. I don't care how impassioned and how emboldened you feel about the Tyre Nichols footage. Don't take part in New York. Don't take part in Washington, D.C. Don't take part in Atlanta or any part of Georgia or Tennessee or Memphis. Don't take part if it happens on the West Coast. Do not take part, people, because if you take part in it, you are participating in the ushering in of these gods. And now we did not hear this from anybody, but we truly believe, we talked about this before we came on air. We believe that anybody who takes part in the participation of ushering these gods to come here, we truly believe that there will be no place for you specifically to run and hide. When these gods come on, let's try to go underground. Or they're going to find you underground. And now they're going to find you underground because their foot. See, people don't realize this. When people say, yeah, giants never existed. Yes, they did. The giants were the gods. Those giants, the skeletons that they find, the archaeologists or the geologists they find of these giant, we found a giant skeleton buried in the ground. Those were the gods. And a matter of fact, they have even found tombs with the actual full bodies of giants with the long beards and all. They found that buried. Those are the giants. And we're not talking about 6 feet, 7 feet tall. We're talking about 9, 10, 12, 13, 14 feet tall, if not taller. Their foot can crush 5,000 people. Their 1 foot can crush 5,000 people. So you trying to go hide on the ground? Oh, they're going to find. There will be no place to run. There will be no place to hide. And you will specifically be found because you helped to usher them in. This is why we say, Black people, white people, do not participate in this this is nothing but a distraction to get your negative energy. Don't do it. Don't get online and start blaming Black people, white people. Don't do it, white people. Don't get online and start blaming white people, Black people. Don't do it, Black people. Don't get out there and start bombing and protesting. I don't care what you see on the news. This is one time now to not watch the news. Don't watch Channel 4, don't watch Channel 5, Channel 7, Channel 9, Channel 50, Channel 20. Don't watch CNN, Fox. This is the time now to turn off the news, because you turn on these news stations and they are going to appeal to your ego. Not your third eye, not your soul, but they're going to appeal to your ego. And your ego is going to get so appealed to that it's going to make you, well, shit, you see what's going on? No, I'm going out there for my people. No, shit, even though I'm white, I'm going out there. And it's going to make you want to go out there. Do not participate in this. This is a negative energy harvest. What's going on right now is a negative energy harvest. Do not participate in this harvest. What you need to do, more so than ever now, is you better start spending your hours, your days, trying to find out what you're going to do when you leave the matrix. Because when those gods come, you are not going to want to be here. You're going to want to leave I'm telling you, you're going to want to leave the matrix. And you better start preparing for what to do when you leave the matrix. That's what you need to be focused on. So just wanted to come and state that, people, because I'm telling you, it's getting serious. It's getting serious, and and I want to end with this. We can't see it. A lot of you all can't see it. We told you one time before that one of our subscribers wrote and said, "Well, what if things never happen? What if things never change? What if you all, if you're looking with your naked eye, you can't see it. You're thinking, oh, well, this is just this will blow over. You're not seeing what people are seeing across the world. You are not feeling the tension in the air. Your spirit is not picking up on the energies that are the dark energies that are getting worse day by day. The dark energy is getting so worse here. Billy Ariel was telling us the other day. She said, God, it's getting so, you can feel it's getting so thick in the air that it's almost like you can't breathe. If your third eye is really open, you will start to feel like you're suffocating, because the dark energies are getting worse, and it's getting worse on purpose because they need that dark energy. So that's what's going on. Our condolences goes out to Tyre Nichols, and only Tyre Nichols. because he was used as a fall person, as an experiment, and their quest to bring forth nothing but negative energy. Our condolences goes out to him, and I bet you he had no idea that he was being used. Of course, we 100% know he had no idea he was being used, but he was. Our condolences goes out to him. But people, be smart. We are approaching. We truly, truly believe we are approaching some serious times where it's going to get a hell of a lot worse. So, and before I end, this is not fear mongering. Because for my people, for our people on BitChute, for all of our people on BitChute who will say that we're fear mongering, this is not fear mongering because you shouldn't be afraid. If you are already spiritually ready for what to do when you leave the matrix, you have nothing to be afraid of. But you have to let people know about these things so that when these things are happening, when you do, if you happen to flip channels and you turn on the stop on the news channel and you're seeing the riots, you won't be thinking, oh, well, that's just black people doing what black people do, or that's just white people doing, or that's just people doing. You won't be thinking that. You'll know exactly why it's happening. Oh, it's happening because the truth movement said that this was going to happen. This is them trying to do an energy harvest, a negative energy harvest worldwide. You'll know about it. It's not to scare you, but you have to know. And so this is what we're doing. So that being said, like, comment, and subscribe. If you have to watch the news, go to the alternative news. This is one time we have to say to go to the forum Godlike Productions. Just be careful about what you look out on there as well, because you have a lot of negative energy parasites there on that forum too. But try to get as much news, alternative news from there. And there are other alternative news sites that you can get your news from as far as what's going on. But do not watch the mainstream news, because all it's going to do is it's going to appeal to your ego to make you want to expel that negative energy. Don't do it, and do not get involved in these protests. I don't care what happens. Do not get involved. So with that being said, this is the Truth Movement. Thank you all for listening, and buckle up, people, because it's going to be a bumpy ride. Love yourselves and those around you. One last correction, it's not the UN, it was the WHO. The WHO, the World Health Organization, that was the one that was urging countries to start stockpiling medicines for nuclear emergencies after the European Union's latest warning on Putin. So it wasn't the United Nations, it was the World Health Organization, because earlier I had said the United Nations. No, it's the World Health Organization. Just wanted to come and add that additional correction to the video. Thank you all for listening. Love yourselves and those around you.